S1 Keperawatan, dan S1 Kebidanan. Yang terakhir ada dari Fakultas Teknik. Atau MA kelas 12 di tahun 2025 dan memiliki prestasi akademik dan non-akademik yang unggul. Selanjutnya, kamu harus memiliki nomor induk siswa nasional atau NIK yang terdaftar dan valid di Pangkalan Data Sekolah dan Siswa atau PDSS. Kemudian, harus masuk ke dalam kategori siswa eligible yang telah diperintahkan berdasarkan implementasi sekolah, serta memiliki nilai raport yang sudah diinput ke dalam PDSS oleh sekolah. Selain itu, untuk kamu yang memiliki minat untuk mendaftarkan diri di bidang seni dan olahraga, jangan lupa untuk mempersiapkan portofolio yang sudah ditentukan ya. Terus harus gimana? Jangan lupa like, share, dan follow ini untuk konten-konten informatif lainnya. Kita dan semua pasti bisa. Ya, ini gak ada kesempatan. Oh iya. Tinggal bisa. Aku udah masih Iya ya, ini foto para Tasya.
Seiring berjalannya waktu, semua bergerak cepat, semakin tak menentu. Seiring berjalannya waktu, semua berubah cepat, penuh tantangan baru. Kami pun terus berpacu, jaga dan meningkatkan mutu, tiada henti berinovasi, raih prestasi, banggakan negeri. UM berkarya dan akan terus berkarya, buktikan ilmu membangun nusa dan bangsa, menjadi pengguna untuk semua. Excellent in learning innovation, excellent in learning innovation.
Berjalannya semua berubah, semakin tak menentu.
Kami pun terus berpacu, jaga dan meningkatkan mutu, tiada henti berinovasi, raih prestasi, banggakan negeri. UM berkarya dan akan terus berkarya, buktikan ilmu membangun nusa dan bangsa, menjadi unggul rujukan untuk semua. Excellent in learning innovation, excellent in learning innovation.
UM the only one. Satu tekad untuk mencetak generasi yang cerdas, unggul, dan berdaya saing.
UM berkarya dan akan terus berkarya, buktikan ilmu membangun nusa dan bangsa, menjadi unggul rujukan untuk semua. Let's sing together. 1, 2. Berkarya dan akan terus
Ngeliatin apa ya? Betul-betul lagi holiday.
Oke, kita mulai di sesi yang kedua ini. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, to student Dr. Novus, we have 3 article draft from our participants. Once again, we have 3 article draft from our participants. This one, and then this is the second one. The first draft is come from Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi.
Where's the Cristiano Ronaldo?
And the conversation time is yours.
Thank you so much. So we have Cristiano Ronaldo. But okay, Cristiano Ronaldo don't have experience in physics. For only for football. Physical education. Okay. So the title here, multiple representation profile for a prospective physics teacher in solving mechanics problems. Okay. So the title, I think it's quite good and it's not that long, and you have specific to solving mechanics problem for physics teacher. Okay. So if you want to start, like draft your article based on this title, you need to put in your mind, is this issue new or novel or not? Like if you find out there is any researcher study same variables like solving mechanics problems in physics, so maybe the title it will be not new if you find the exact same title. So you need to check back if this title literally new or not. Yeah, Google Scholar. Yeah. This is the Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, mastery of quantum. Table, graphs, Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, what do you mean by profile? When you say profile, yeah, here in the title. In the beginning, here you mentioned mastery of multiple representations such as table, graph, diagram, and mathematical expression is essential for prospective physics teacher. So this is like the way how you present yourself or you present the data, like or manage or structure your data. Look like that structure. So what does it mean by profile here? Refer to the multiple representation ability. So maybe you can multiple representation profile. Ability. So I think you need to change profile to ability. It looks like both of you. Like if you want to present yourself to the others, it not look like you are presenting data or any type of result. like have they can manage to present their own research by using table, graph, or like diagrams. So this is really important to differentiate to make sure the reader will understand. So here from the title only, they will ask you what does it mean by profile. In the first, from the first time, it will come to their mind. It's like you are gonna present yourself or you want to create or design your portfolio, like about your bibliography or your CV, something like that. But when it's come to the abstract, you mentioned about the presentation, like how you present your data, like how the presentation it can help to solve mechanics problem. Like let's say, are talking about misconception in Newton laws. Okay, so if the student have misconception in Newton laws, uh, so what's the way or what's the strategy, what's the method you want to follow to make sure the student understand Newton laws? Okay, so this is one of the things you mentioned here. You're gonna use table, graph, diagrams to help the student solve the misunderstanding or misconception. Okay. Okay, then after that, the first thing, like the first two lines, it's look like background. Then after that, you mentioned the aim of the study. This study examines the representation abilities of 17 physics education. Student in solving mechanics problem, find their strength and weakness across representation type. Okay, it can be as the aim of the study, but also you need to align with the title. So you need to change profile to ability. Then after that, the methodology part, here you mentioned about mixed method as an approach. Data were collected through a validated instrument on kinematics and dynamics and analyzed with the descriptive statistics, ANOVA and interview. Okay. No. So the result here only described, like interpret. No need to add results. Huh? Okay, like here you mentioned, results show the highest proficiency in tabular representation is 70.59%. Moderate ability in diagram and lower performance in mathematics and graphical form. Okay, so here you can just mention the highest proficiency in tabular representation and moderator ability in diagrams without the percentage. Then lower performance in mathematical and graphical form. Only description, no need to add any numerical. Then ANOVA revealed non-significant differences among representation table. So qualitative findings highlighted challenges in interpreting graphs, representing, managing formulas, and connecting representation. The study concludes that teacher educating. Okay, here when you mention in ANOVA, it's not significant. So why it's not significant? Maybe you can elaborate a little bit in the abstract. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, no need like ANOVA. And ANOVA, oh, okay, ANOVA because you mentioned it in the data analysis already. So no need to add ANOVA in here. So just mention there is no significant differences among representation types. So representation type because then elaborate a little bit. Why it's not significant? Have you found any other study mentioned is significant? You're not sure. Are you sure this is not
Ya,
you?
betul, betul.
It's not you.
Yes,
Yes. Okay,
my major is
so
communication.
your major mathematics. It's major mathematics, right? Physics, okay. Okay, then after that, this study concludes that a teacher education program should integrate representation training, mathematics, physics. Okay, I have one question. The qualitative part, I think it's not strong, right?
Qualitative findings highlighted challenges in interpreting graphs, managing formulas, and connecting representations. What kind of challenges? Do you have your challenge?
So this is not real finding.
Back to your friend.
Yeah, friend.
Okay, you want to put qualitative findings? What are the challenges?
Yes,
such as
you cannot just say patient challenges without any type of challenge. So here it will like, okay, usually as a researcher, we focus on abstract first. If we are interested with the writing or with the topic, we can go further to read the full research to get more understanding or to gain more knowledge about this topic. But here, if I read this article, like if I am as a reviewer, I want to review this article, from the beginning, I ask you totally to change like the abstract from the result until the end. Okay? Okay, so clear about abstract. And the title, change profile to ability.
because you never mentioned profile in
Yeah, there is no profile. So after this part, there is any profile you mention in your data.
we are doing this on very critical profile. Bila kita baca abstract dia, tadi tu represent. So it's kind of let's see what kind of representation can you see. It's only but it's okay.
Okay, so you're refined. Only the objective, that's it. The first thing.
But okay,
Okay, one more thing. This study examined the representation ability of 17 physics education students. So in solving mechanics problem. Here, no need to mention the participant in the study aid. The participant is supposed to be like like using this like descriptive mixed method approach, and the participant, then you need to mention the participant
in your methodology.
yeah, in the methodology part. Okay, so here you need to rewrite the first research objective. The first research is this study examined the representation ability of 17 students in solving mechanical problems. So this is need to be rewrite. Because usually in the objective or in research in we didn't mention the participant. No many participant in this study.
Follow what the thing is. The first sentence is a statement of the background or the context. Second statement is for you to the study examining the is it multiple representation or representation style?
Multiple. So you need to mention multiple representation ability.
Of the student using the student is already to stop.
Solving, yeah, and solving the second one is identifying their strength and weakness across representation type. So this is the second one. So also here you mentioned the second objective, strength and weakness. What type of strength? What type of weakness? So you didn't mention here any type of strength or any type of weakness, like in your result part. So second objective not achieved. Only the first one.
Must follow the benefit that okay, or the objective want to the ability of people and want to identify. So in your result section, your findings must address the top one. What are the multiple representation and what is the overall finding on the strength and pada apa yang you present. Presented this as your focus of research. So when you write the findings, the findings you see address them.
So the findings is supposed to address your research objective or your research question. So you need to rewrite the majority of the abstract from research in until the end. Okay, because also after that, like you mentioned here, this study concludes that teacher education program should integrate representational training, strength, mathematics, physics, connection, and employ technology enhanced collaborative strategy to develop well-rounded representational components, enabling future teacher to convey physics concepts more effectively. So this is like I think what you are recommended here, I think already there. So you need to be specific based on your results. Like from the this study concludes until the end. Yeah. So this is like you mentioned here. You mentioned supposed to have like exhibit representational training, trained mathematics, physics connection. I think this is already there, like already published before, or and other researchers already follow this. Follow this strategy to enhance or improve like physics concept or make it more effectively by enhancing integrated technology or connect physics with mathematics concept. But here in the conclusion, you need to mention like based on your research result, not based on the other, because here you didn't touch any technology, you didn't touch any collaborative strength. But for like representation and training, okay, this is correct. But rather than that, I think you need to look back to your findings first. Then you can draw the conclusion.
This was the last part. Because when your conclusion can be based on then you can add one more sentence for your
Consideration or suggestion for future research. But based on the findings you will find out. Okay. Yeah. So unless you mention everything there, you put everything there. Well, I'm pretty sure other researcher, other researcher already have done that. So you need to suggest or draw the conclusion based on your study findings, based on your research findings. Okay? So you need to rewrite from research objective until conclusion.
The abstract need to rewrite. Okay, for keyword, okay, correct. But here profile change to ability. No more profile. Because I didn't see profile. So it should be multiple representation ability. Ability multiple representation ability. No need to add profile in the image. You must remember, the beginner keyboard is sangat penting tau. Ability, ability. You have to select the good keywords, especially that really highlights that because when you do your literature research, when you type in, dia akan tarik. So if you want your article to be referred to, you must make sure your keywords are the strong keywords. That's the importance of keywords. So also keywords later, sometimes it can help you to find out or select other researcher related to your research. Yeah. Okay. For the study participant or study population, no need to mention it in the objective. Yeah, need to mention in methodology part, like when you mention about the mixed method approach. So after that, mention your population, your sampling size, then start with the data collection tool. Okay, follow these all formats to rewrite the abstract in Bahasa Indonesia. Okay. For the introduction, okay, in a specific case at the university where we teach the learning, don't personalize it. Yeah. Or maybe the question is, kalau saya boleh tanya, apa sebab letak itu? More importantly, why did you put that? What was the purpose? In a specific case at the university where we teach the learning outcomes, why was this put there? So this is only based on your experience. So you cannot write here something based on your experience inside while you teach the student or while you conduct the research. So I think you should make it more general. Okay. In the beginning of the paragraph, it's like I think it's not suit. Okay. Try to give an example, but not. Well, this is make it general. Okay. This is right. This situation boleh didapati dari research yang pernah orang buat kan. So you should pull the literature. Because tiba-tiba dia and learning outcomes really very positive. Unless what is the reason to be there? So we study. Okay. Because if you try to introduce the what do you call the situation. Kalau you nak zoom in kepada Indonesia dan terus okay secara general ambil research ataupun mungkin ada newspaper yang menyatakan bahawa itu guru-guru yang something that is coming from a source rather than personal. Kalau this one is to focus because di Indonesia contohnya maybe di Indonesia dia macam kalau di Malaysia our students sometimes put that okay mathematics is problematic and then adalah sumber bentuk yang cakap contohnya so dia ada sumber yang not excellent
or maybe you can make it based on Indonesian context. Okay, okay. So here you mentioned the based on that rationale, it's important to conduct research into identifying and mapping the multiple representation ability for prospective physics teacher, student in solving mechanical problem, focusing on tabular, graphical, diagrammatic, and mathematical representation. Okay, so this is the first objective. Okay, where is the second objective? Because in your abstract you mentioned two objectives. Yeah, and identifying as
kalau ada satu yang abstract just one so you want to delete three and one to delete the one okay.
then here the research question that becomes the focus in this study is here you have a grammatic issue you need to be right. So how is the profile of the multiple representation abilities of prospective physics teacher student in solving mechanics problem?
So that's why so we focus a lot on the because is your
Definitely, there is no profile. I didn't see any profile in the result also.
so that's what your research is what you want to see the abilities and you want to profile the need expert novice what that's profiling that is profiling the ability as a profile but if you just see could be level ke not clear so unless we see if I were to review I go straight to the finding and try to understand what they're trying to do if at your finding you're trying to profile the meaning that you must have done something ada scoring lah so between this to this no kita kata itu fakta yang ni begitu then that's profiling based on their ability are you profiling if you're not profiling are you looking at level of ability so not to say wrong but what is it that you're trying to tell us
Because you didn't describe or elaborate more about the profiling. What type of profile you want to follow?
okay, I will
Okay, here you mentioned you have a qualitative and quantitative depth, descriptive research, okay? Okay, then this is study emphasis observation, gathering data and analysis to duplicate current condition rather than exploring casual relationships. So, okay, you mentioned observation gathering. Then after that you mentioned an instrument was developed to assess student multiple representation ability. So your instrument multiple choice question.
There's three set set A. It is questions.
Okay. Set B, 5 easy questions related to practical dynamics in one dimension. Okay.
C, consider 5 multiple choice question again. And 5E, the question on the topic of linear motion, dynamics, and graphical dynamics. Is developed by you or by your friend, as you say. Your friend developed this.
Yes.
This look like exam, not the question. See, this is the first example. This is look like question, normal physics question. So they base it on the score, right? Or did they ask a question? Read that graph. It's not type of representation. Read, practical with math. So this is a really practical question. F with quantity. So this is exam, not questionnaire. The instrumentation not clear. Because here you mentioned this like type of questionnaire. Okay, so this is when I as a physics lecturer, when I see it like this question as a first time without understanding, you want to improve the representation ability for the student to read chart or to read the table or interpret table or interpret chart. So it looks like normal test, like you are checking the student knowledge for student understanding. I mentioned this methodology for qualitative and distribution. Same thing, even it's quantitative, it has to be clear. Okay, a set of questionnaire or test or worksheet was given. There are ada tiga bahagian dalam ini. Part A, Part B, Part C. Part A merupakan demographic di mana soalan bertanya tentang umur, bla 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 semua. Set B adalah daripada 10 soalan objektif di mana itu jelas. Dan kita tahu, oh yang itu apa. Set B adalah dia tidak ada di sini. And here I didn't, okay, I am with you. You want to check like how they can interpret the chart, the table, everything, or read the table chart. But let's say if I ask the student to draw the chart, based on this is public, I didn't see any like any intervention can help the student to improve their ability in present this table or chart. If I give them question without the chart or the table, then I ask the student to solve this problem. The penelitian from your own research, right? Okay. This is from your own research. Okay. Kebanyakan masa when we want to write some research, we forget kita perlu asaskan bahagian apa yang kita nak buat kita. Kalau kita ada 3 soalan kajian, kita nak 3 soalan kajian pertama. Mungkin secara umumnya the whole thesis which has 3 research questions, methodology dia adalah method fine. Tak mungkin soalan kedua nak gunakan politeknik. So bila kita buat artikel kebahagiaan soalan kedua, metodologi bukan the overall thing, the politeknik. But what we usually say is this comes from a bigger study. This paper is reporting from a bigger study. This question. So kita faham kan, sangat jelas kan? Then your instrumentation must be here. You're using the instrumentation here as a test, but actually what you're trying to say is, if I write this in this kind of form, are they able to understand? That's what you're trying to say,
They can
right?
understand.
So kalau jawapannya betul, maknanya dia faham, tapi digunakan
Then
politik
if
jelaskan.
if they understand these like equations or what's the relationship between velocity and acceleration, maybe they can draw one. But if they didn't understand, they cannot represent it like table or graph or any diagram.
I see what you mean. If they put the representation, so they go able to solve.
Okay, but not all six have representation. No, no, because here this is like let's see that it's mentioned here. Motion of a particle is described by the following equation. So they use this equation to start or let the student to draw. My question is, if the student don't know how to draw the graph or the table based on this equation, so how they can represent the table or the graph? Like let's say if the opposite can give the graph or the table or any result for this to select like the first like the section. So later you will face a problem with student understanding. Maybe they will answer wrongly. You do know.
For particular paper, ada scenario yang jawab untuk kami bantu. So that's why the root of the problem is tidak dijelaskan instrumennya. So, okay, set C is what? Set C terdiri pada soalan apa? Soalan yang menggunakan simbol equation contohnya. Set B adalah soalan yang menggunakan representation graph. Set C adalah menggunakan algebra equation.
So here it's not clear. So you need to have like description for each section or for each set. Because like if you give them like this simple equation, if they didn't if they didn't understand the relationship between the velocity and acceleration, so maybe they will not able to give you the solution for this set. So you need to look back to the instrument or the data collection tool. Okay, here you mentioned it's developed by your friend. He already checked validity and reliability.
For the rest of you understand now how to write a paper, research, the things that you think of. Jadi sekarang ni apa yang dapat dari mention, not so much, but the questions yang akan ditanya. So pemikiran yang macam mana? Nanti dia bagi. Dia ada jelas sebab dia kan structured process.
Metro, I already so here it's considered to be the question. Do you have idea how he come up with the reliability? Because this is developed an instrument. If developed an instrument cannot simply write like this. mention if there is any expert or content validity that's been done.
Set A consists of 4 multiple choice with A, B, C. You have to describe, okay, what is the purpose of set A because you ask me the consists of 4 multiple choice questions where the questions are all be represented by graphical notation. The students are asked to participant or the center is asked to provide the reason for the choice of the answer. Itu jelas ada tu. Tak macam tu. I don't know what is it that you macam that's why the two at one class we ingat that. Right? That's it. Two essay. What is the essay question for? What is the essay question consist of? Ada definition.
It look like a test.
So look like that. Right. Right? So two essay questions where the two questions are problem solving questions which covers the topic of linear functions from here. Dapat tak? If I describe at that end, oh, we just begitu. So set C, the two multiple and essay question. What is the purpose of all that? That's why you can explain it to the penjelasan tentang especially when you do
So anyone can, like, let's say you mentioned in the beginning you mentioned it's not the choice item. Then after that you come out with the other thing. But you didn't like mention like what's the purpose to use this style of instrument.
something description without
But anyone can understand physics a little bit will say this is this, not not a question.
but if let's say kami yang set ini set
So this is something there is no contribution, right?
ini sudah ada nampak dia tu perlu dibagi dan dijelaskan. Okey, kita itu biasa tak? Kedai dengan correct. Jadi
So methodology but you need to rewrite because there is some mistake. And you need to elaborate more about the data collection tool. Data collection tool means the instrument. Okay. Then after that, you need to mention like how you validated this instrument because the whole article you mentioned validated instrument without how. Okay, and okay, here you mentioned semi-structured interview was conducted and then examined to assess the degree of consistency, logical coherence, and casual linkage between participants' writing and oral response. So, what type of semi-structured interview? To enrich the quantitative description, semi-structured interviews were also conducted and then examined to assess the degree of consistency, logical coherence, and casual linkage between participant written and oral response. So here also, you never mention what type of semi-structured interview. You didn't explain what type of semi-structured interview. So you need to mention also or like
explain more about semi-structural interview. Then the last paragraph, you mentioned only the data analysis for the quantitative part. For a qualitative part, I didn't see anything. Because this, like, mixed method study, I need to touch like quantitative and qualitative equally. So here, like, I didn't like see that much information about qualitative part, how you collect the data and how you analyze your data based on quantitative part. Then also here, the citation wrong. You need to check that. Kimi 2004 and Kimi 2017. Because this is not ABA style citation. Totally wrong. You need to mention family author name, and year of publication only. So that is here. Where is table one? It is not a profile, only descriptive statistics. So delete profile word. Change it with ability. For this descriptive statistics, okay, so here you want to check the level of so that means they are better in tabular. Yeah, he's better to read tabular. Graphical and mathematical representation. Yeah. How did you grade them? How you analyze data? They analyze using any type of software? Or they do no, I think not manually. No, wait. This is SPSS. SPSS. Excel. Also, the Innova come out with the Excel. Like, why did they use SPSS? No. They didn't mention. So you didn't mention the data analysis using manually or software. So you need to revise methodology part. Have you found the software?
how you come out with the homogeneity of variables. Same software.
Sometimes kan, I will ask my students, have a template. Kan? Kalau methodology, first thing you do is approach. Buatlah predict. Second part is sample populations that heading itu, right? Then the next one is probably your instrumentation. Okay, dijelaskan. Proses. Then you ask PSB.
First time I heard about.
But ni just to comment on this, I think saya rasa bila buat penulisan sebegini, bila tengok artikel ataupun tengok thesis, methodology, mata perbaikan ambil this. No, I will suggest this. Saya selalu suggest my students macam ni tadi. Buat satu template sendiri, just a word document simple. Okay, ini bahagian methodology. Okay, research approach, experiences. Tak jadi word,
They call it VSS.
alright, okay, we have the sample. Once dah siap benda tu, okay, so analysis apa? Once dah siap benda tu, when you look at
I think SPSS more advanced than this one. No, they don't have enough because of this or not we. Like SPSS have like advanced statistics. So you can run not only until or 1 year. So it's like SPSS also similar. Yeah, but you need to mention in the methodology what type of software you use for analyzing data for quantitative part and for qualitative. Okay? But I think like this the interpretation for each table, okay, acceptable. It is only with one-way ANOVA. One-way ANOVA, you need to come out with the descriptive statistic, homogeneity, and ANOVA test itself. But also it shows not significant. Means like you need to elaborate more why it's not significant. Okay? Like the ANOVA table, you need to elaborate more why it's not, like what's the potential reason to give you this result, not significant. Is in the E, for like for quantitative part, maybe it's like the multiple representation ability, not the good method to improve mechanical solving problem or yeah, solving mechanical problem. Yeah, so you need to give suggestion why, like, okay, first of all, explain why it's like give you unexpected result. Then after that, you need to like suggest some solution that can help your student or her research later to try with the student to improve solve mechanical problems. Okay, because I know like until now the issue or the misunderstanding with the mechanical problem in physics not solved until now. Like 40% around the world they didn't solve the problem. So the majority of researcher teachers they face same issue around the world with the physics students. Okay? So the qualitative finding. I didn't see any findings, only just writing, explaining without like where is, like let's say if you use thematic analysis for analyzing after you conduct the interview, you mentioned semi-structured interview. Okay, semi-structured interview, I didn't see any interview here. Like how you come out with the challenge faced by physics teacher candidates in learning how to use and interpret multiple forms of representation were identified through open-ended interview questions. So also you didn't mention anything about open-ended interview questions. So there is gap here. So quantitative part you need to rewrite again. Follow Dr. Suzi's instructions. Okay. So also here, how you come out with mathematical representation challenges.
I'm just wondering. So your main instrument was X. Then the qualitative is what? The questions you ask about the solving of the problems? Think about how they solve the problem when they're solving the problem. So you use it to understand the quantitative part.
Everything you mentioned, make sure and support quantitative part.
It's very simple. A little bit of quality just to identify what are the challenges. That's all.
So means like based on the student answer in a quantitative part, you come out with this question, right?
So you just need to just what are the
Yeah,
challenges?
yeah,
all
because I didn't see here any challenges. It's just only like type of speech. That's it.
So maybe I was 17, kalau kita kira di classroom,
You conduct the interview with all participants, all 17 students. Maybe
in the all 17, bermaksud the challenges is if you see all 17 all say one, then compare okay, then that means they could be all only 5 challenges. These challenges is 17, so these are the main challenges. That one you report from the output.
you need to, yeah,
Not the
yeah. So this is like chapter, like qualitative part you need to rewrite because like it's not like result for qualitative part. Again, implication from the teacher education. From where you come out with this? Or this is the reading? He took it from other sources. So, okay, technical translation. I told you in the beginning, if my understanding correct, he won't like ask the question, then ask the student to translate to diagram or table. So here I didn't see any type of things. Only like in the beginning mentioned about how to read the graph. That's it. For the question, especially section C, set C of the question, focusing on technical translation, like how the student when they see or read the question, in their mind it will come, they need to understand the relationship between, like let's say, velocity and acceleration. So then after that, the student, they want to translate these type of say question to be diagram, table, graph, like that. Answer the question. But this is the answer.
in this case, we are looking at translation between from one representative, even in mathematics.
Yeah.
That one I'm totally next. Kalau kita nak tengok pelajar tu boleh translate atau transfer from one perwakilan kepada perwakilan lain, kita akan bagi sesuatu aktiviti. So we give them a diagram. Now this is a graph. Can you draw bigger to another representation? So that is translation of representation. But trying to interpret a representation. Interpret representation means that I give you a graph now. You tell me what is the okay. Now that is me trying to understand whether I can read it. But when you want to translate one representation to other, for example, like mathematics statistics, from above, I give you this data, draw a bar chart. From here, what is another representation? So report a chart, whether the student is able to see that data can be represented like this, they can translate transform from one to the other. Tetapi kalau I give a pie chart, saya cakap kepada pelajar, okay, this pie chart ceritanya apa? Itu dia untuk kasih pelajar tu. Tetapi if I say, okay, from here, what's another way? This data, how can you represent this data? So they got to look at data. That is transforming from one data. So which one is it now? For this that
Yeah. No translation.
so
Okay. So this is, you need to look back also.
ini semua jelas lagi tak antara ni? Okay, so kita nak endorse this which is dia ada outline yang guys, methodology ada. The word
Okay, here you need to change the study map, the word map, not suitable for your research. Because you didn't, there is no banking here.
dan ini tak ada. The study map is not map.
Yeah, you didn't have
You identify the
yeah, identify.
when you write conclusions, I don't need to write and move on failure. You just try to define this that students the listener. However, there was no significant
No need to mention ANOVA or descriptive statistics or any type of data analysis. Just direct. Okay, qualitative part we need to rewrite because I didn't say it. And you mentioned here data presented tables. I didn't see any tables.
and the qualitative, the persistent challenges. What were the challenges?
Yeah, you didn't mention any type of challenges, only challenges more.
Stop the challenges. Got from your qualitative. So challenges faced by the students were
One more thing, here you mentioned the data presented in tables. So I didn't see any table in your data. In your result part, no, there is no any table for qualitative part. Yes. So you need to rewrite the conclusion as well and align the conclusion with your research objective. Any question?
okay.
Understood.
Go to the next. Go to the next. Yeah, contribution, it will be in conclusion. Most important thing about the conclusion. This is what I did, what I found, therefore, yeah. That's why in the end of the abstract, you need to mention the most important thing related to your study, its contribution. Then after that, you can like mention suggestion for future. Okay, so this is bibliometric analysis. Bibliometric analysis. Okay, research print incorporated conflict in mathematics learning 1978 to wow, very old to 2024. This is very huge gap. This is study for whom? No, it's okay. I do not judge. I only just want to know the person. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You can ask questions about our friend. Yeah, his friend. I think it is the same study. Sometimes we think I think my friend is okay, this research for whom? Do you know a bibliometric analysis quite recently? No, this is not question. I am asking this is for who? I say bibliometric analysis article quite recently, like it's not that popular in social science field. Understood? Yeah, so this is bibliometric analysis, like you select the period, the era. Let's say here, very huge gap. So I don't know how many years, 1978 to 2024. But usually, if you want to be like focusing on one topic, it's here mentioning about trend of cognitive conflict in mathematics learning. So you need to do like bibliometric analysis to make sure it's like if this topic has been covered in other countries or only in Indonesia. So it's type of it look like review paper, but here usually we use like website, we call it site space. Site space to analyze the data based on article selected. But I'm not sure if the student here follow because here I think it's not very clear. This is software. So this is the page, but this is not free. They can give you trial, like around 1 week, then you need to pay. So if you use this website, like to focus on like one topic, let's say just now the article, cognitive coefficient for in mathematics learning, right? So here in the beginning, when you want to use the site space, here you can upload any article
article based on the country, like this article published in which country? Like the cognitive conflict in mathematics learning, popular or more in which country? Like let's say in Indonesia there is like 10 articles. So it will mention Indonesia 10 times. Or it will give you scope is Indonesia have this type of issue or this type of publication. Something like that. So this is the basic one. This time. First, you need to have account. Then after that, it can give you the other function. Okay? So this article, they mention about cognitive coping has been identified as a successful method of improving student conceptual knowledge and critical thinking abilities when learning mathematics. This study analyzed the trend of cognitive conflict in mathematics education to uncover themes, influence authors and okay. So this is as a secondary data. So the research examined conflict in education using Scopus data. Means the I don't know this is the author for this article, but I will say the researcher. Okay, the researcher mentioned here, he only selects Scopus data to select the article related to cognitive conflict in learning mathematics. Okay, so okay, why you choose 1978 to 2024? There is no study has been done before related to cognitive conflict in mathematics, like literature review, because this is bibliometric analysis, one of the literature review. Only like study having it's supposed to have literature review. Okay. Okay. And
methodology part. Because they don't have all the introduction and okay. For this study, employee literature research design. So it's one type of literature review. But we're using software to analyze the data. Okay, here the student mentioned literature research design with bibliometric analysis approach, data from 107 documents in Scopus shows sufficient competencies to support the research objectives. Okay, I didn't see any research objectives here. Okay, here. The study aims to analyze research trends in cognitive conflict within mathematics education using secondary data, including abstract keyword and author name. Why only you want to include abstract keywords and author name only? What about the others? Like methodology or like type of research design, the finding or the theory have been used or research strategy have been used with cognitive conflict in mathematics education. So there is a lot of things you need to add here, not only based on abstract keywords and author name. And the goal is to provide new insight into the research trajectory and its contributing to mathematics teaching. Three specific objectives of this study are identifying the most prolific authors contributing to cognitive component research in mathematics education, including their institutional affiliation, to identify key factors influencing research in this field, such as domain themes and researcher collaboration, and evaluate temporal development of cognitive conflict research data, providing an overview of how the field has evolved and its future research direction. So this study is expected to support the development of more innovation and effective mathematics teaching strategies. So here, you didn't mention anything, like you didn't mention if you want to study the mathematics teaching strategy have been used in the selected articles. So how you will come out like with the expected supported development of more innovation and effective teaching strategy for mathematics. So you need to cover not only abstract keywords and author names, because you are not only focusing on the country contribution. We are focusing on how to find out the effective teaching strategy in mathematics education for cognitive conflict. Not only find out how many articles has been published in this region or that region. So that's why you cannot focus only on abstract and author name. So, and here how you find out like 107 documents in Scopus, like how you select this study, and why you choose the period 1978 to 2024. So this is not clear. How you will run the bibliometric analysis? I didn't see any things. No, it cannot be by picture. This is the procedure for the methodology. Define the immense choose the techniques, collect the data, run the bibliometric analysis. Okay, how you will run the bibliometric analysis? Oh yeah, only from one data. Okay, this is the technique how you select the article. I want the technique how you run the bibliometric analysis itself. Bibliometric R package. Here are studio and Biblio Shiny. There is a lot of things, so you cannot mention which one she or he, I don't know. Not clear. That bibliometric analysis, Biblio Shiny in our studio, data cleaning, standardizing, performance analysis, author production, institutional contribution, quality, scientific planning, keyword analysis, citation networks, and costing. Please, who's write this article? Not clear for me. So you need to recheck the majority because like the also the research objectives is not really aligned. You already there is an introduction. But you need to make it aligned because of the student just mentioned like want to check the keywords, abstract and author name. Then in the end of the methodology, you want to come out if there is any innovative and effective teaching strategy for mathematics, especially for cognitive coefficients. Okay? Conflict. Cognitive conflict. So it's supposed to be more than that. If you want to run this type of bibliometric analysis, you need to focus on the hot things in that article. Let's say one article using flipped classroom with cognitive conflict. Okay, so this flipped classroom it can help you to improve or enhance the cognitive conflict in mathematics. Understood? So this is not clear in this article. And also, like she used our studio, she or he, I'm not sure. So our studio, okay, can be used for the bibliometric analysis, but I think it will not give you the exact graph and how many articles have been published or uh, how many articles have been published, let's say, depends on the country, or if this article contributes cognitive conflict in mathematics or not. So here it's only give you the chart, it's increase by year or reduce or increase. They didn't give you the exact amount of the article number have been published since 1978 to 2024. For example, we have it's a question. So we have to elaborate the data on the answer of the question. Or we have to mention all in the findings. Okay, here, why I need the journal. Okay, the journal it can give
the region of that journal, not how many articles published in that country. So this is the issue also. So here, if you mention the source type or the publisher type, like education study mathematics in Netherlands, so why I need to mention the HIP index? Why I need to mention the quartile? You didn't mention that in your research objective. So the research question for bibliometric analysis is supposed to be answered in the findings, but here I didn't see any answer. Even the first graph didn't answer. So here also, like here, okay, it can show you, but why you need to mention the author H index? This is no need. Author H index, no need. Better mention how many articles published related to cognitive conflict to answer your first research question. Okay? And why we need to mention the journal impact factor? Do you want to check if the article have been published about cognitive conflict in mathematics education in Scopus Index or Web Science Index? That's why you need to concern about the impact factor for each journal. So they didn't mention that also. So no need for this. No, not you like. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's okay, I know, but like, this is for example. Like, understand. I'm sorry. That's actually different. Also, this is not clear. Trend topic based on keyword plus. What's keyword plus? Because you specific cognitive conflict trend. So what's the keyword based on the cognitive conflict trend? So only need to mention that. Cognitive conflict keyword trend. That's it. In mathematics education. But this is supposed to be more clear. That's why cite space more clearly, and it gives you the exact keyword, not only just the number of the article or the number of the keyword. So this part needs to be done. Okay, this is okay, can be, but if you use site space, but it can be give you more clear photo. This is okay, this is correct. Why you need to discuss the most relevant author? So from the beginning, you need to mention why you want to select or study author, keyword, abstract. Why only these three? These three didn't answer the this article research question or research objective. Answer only the first part. That's it. The other two parts I cannot see. Okay, here better you can like discuss the trend in cognitive conflict in mathematics education. So, what type of cognitive conflict? Not only just describe or like mention you have run these like study on cognitive conflict where score existing article where score what So this verb also not clear. So what type of pedagogy? So this is type of bibliography or pedagogy. Okay, so this part needs to be rewrite. It has to be. Okay, based on what? The labeling cluster. Only based on the cognitive process or based on the cognitive development or based the learning skill or based on the mathematics models have been used before or not. Because this is also not clear how you come out with the cluster itself. Because the article only focusing on cognitive conflict. Okay, so the current learning, how you come out with the current learning, how you come out with the learning activities have been done with mathematics classroom or like if there is any differences between the participants have been involved in these three steps. Like the article you selected from the beginning because all findings here are supposed to be based on the 107 documents. Okay, the conclusion need to be rewrite based on your research question. Conclusion need to be rewrite based or modify based on the research question. Okay, any question? Jawab expression tag. Kalau di luar tiga yang diambil kan ada abstrak, ada nama penulis, kan apa lagi agar cukup untuk menjawab this expression. But we need metadata or fulfill. Maybe the researchers they have not enough to answer the question.
Sudah cukup ya? Ya. Pertanyaannya lewat email. Thank you very much, Dr. Susi, Dr. Nufus. I know that if Dr. Nufus and Dr. Susi talk about publication, talk about article, it will be something interesting for us. Tapi karena keterbatasan waktu kita, dan ini sudah setengah 4 lebih, kita harus mengakhiri sesi kita, dan ini menjadi sesi terakhir dari 3 hari kunjungan jauh berbeda dari Malaysia ke Indonesia. Kalau siang kita mau memberikan closing statement untuk
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya pertama yang sudah banyak sekali sharing pengetahuan dan wawasan terutama kualitatif SLR dan juga mengenai. Dan ada waktu bertanya beberapa hari yang lalu baru ditanyakan sudah mau puluhan. Tapi nanti kita siapkan sesi tambahan. Kalau misalkan kita bisa laksanakan konten, ada pertanyaan yang belum selesai, bisa juga WhatsApp saya atau nanti ya, ya nanti komunikasi bisa berjalan. Memang ada pertanyaan yang lagi terima kasih sudah sampai pada detik ini sudah bergabung. Terima kasih Ibu dari Malaysia, Cikgu ya. Nanti akan ada kolaborasi dari kolega kami, ada artikel untuk mungkin juga ada joining kolaborasi lainnya, research collaboration untuk kolaborasi. Dan sekali lagi terima kasih untuk semuanya, karena sudah sore saya akhiri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Terima kasih. Jangan lupa Bapak Ibu yang belum absen, absen ya. Ya nanti setelah ini kita foto. Nanti dari panitia akan membuatkan sertifikat untuk, tapi mungkin kalau untuk Bapak Ibu tidak penting ya. Kalau untuk mahasiswa, oh bisa PKD. Nanti akan kita bikin sertifikat, tapi nanti kita taruh di Google Drive begitu, silakan ini. Kali itu saya mohon maaf apabila selama 3 hari dan hari ini mengantarkan acara ini ada kekurangan. Saya mohon maaf. Saya lagi mudah-mudahan acara ini bisa memberikan manfaat yang besar untuk Bapak Ibu. Saya kira kalau ada kurang lebihnya mohon maaf. Atau kalau bisa mendengar orang tua. Kita akhiri dengan sesi karena sedikit mungkin di depan aja ya. Di depan menghadap ke kanan.
uh,